Hello and welcome, everyone. Today we're going to talk about publishing Confluence content with confidence. Now, Confluence is a fantastic tool for both creating and sharing content, for different audiences and for different purposes. One often overlooked aspect, however, is that content must be reviewed and approved for accuracy and for compliance before it's actually published to an audience. Publishing content directly from Confluence can be risky without oversight. Mistakes or unapproved information might go live. And then the default Confluence site often isn't very user-friendly for non-familiar users, and it's difficult to tailor for multiple audiences simultaneously. My name is Raj Sehmi. I work for an app vendor called Refined. We make tools that help you improve the UI of your Atlassian products. I've been with Refined for a bit more than 7 years, working closely with customers and partners, helping them to solve different challenges on Confluence and on JSM.
Hi everyone, I'm Jack, and I'm the founder and CEO of Capable, and we build apps that level up the way teams use Confluence with a focus on intuitive solutions without the clutter and the complexity. And I've been in many roles in Atlassian for about 10 years now, from consulting to being an administrator to building products. And so I know the challenges that we all face firsthand, and I'm looking forward to showing you how to solve publishing and approval in Confluence today. So, starting off, Capable gives you all the essential tools your team needs to get work done in Confluence without installing 5 or so different apps or building a janky workaround. So we handle approvals, which is what we're going to focus on today, but we also provide solutions for things like calendars, diagrams, content formatting, and content management tools. So instead of stitching together about half a dozen separate plugins, Capable gives you one clean, integrated experience that scales with your team. With our approval solution, we add structured approval and review workflows to Confluence, and it's designed to solve the problem of who checked this or is this ready to publish? We're going to show you how to set up approval teams and automatically assign them to pages, how you can notify your staff immediately using tools like Slack, and show you how Capable can turn your messy draft and pray workflows into reliable publishing ones, and how we deeply integrate with Refined to hand off those published pages directly to Refined to show them on the internet or on an intranet, or really anywhere really, with all of your nice branding and your company guidelines in place.
For the other part of this solution, we're going to publish this content on Refined Sites for Confluence. Now, Refined Sites is a site building app that turns your Confluence content into branded, intuitive websites based on the needs of your audiences. As Jack mentioned, it could be an internal site, it could be an intranet, it could be external documentation or knowledge bases. And the best part of this is you can build as many sites as you like, with all the content being hosted on a single Confluence instance.
So next, I'm going to show you just a teaser of what you can get out of this solution. So we're not going to go into how you get it first. We're just going to show you the end result just to see if this is something that your team requires. So first of all, the sort of abstract is that we're going to have some draft content in Confluence, which your team's going to write. This content could potentially be private and it won't be visible to, say, other employees at this point. We're going to then put this content through an approval process with Capable, and then that reviewed content is then going to be made visible to everyone in Refined Sites. So let's take a look at this now. So here I have a Confluence space, and this is our internal knowledge base. And what we want to show here is just how you can take a draft page like this one, for example, and we're going to show how you're going to get this into your beautiful looking Refined site here in minimal effort and without your staff having to remember who exactly needs to be the approver. So I'm just going to publish this page. And now what you're going to see here is at the top, we've got this new pending indicator. And this means that this page has now been submitted for approval. And your staff will have also been notified, as you can see here in Slack, but also in Gmail or email as well. So this would appear on your phone, as it has on my phone here, so that your staff can really quickly turn around these approvals. So say your staff have now been notified, they can now click on the pending indicator at the top. And you can see we've asked 3 people here for approval, but actually we only need 1 person to approve it out of those 3. So I'm just going to go in. You can leave an optional comment here, and I'm going to click approve. And now you can see this page has now been approved. And what we have set up here is automated publishing. So as you can see on the top here, we have this published indicator. This means that because it's gone through our strict approval process, it's now been uploaded to Refined. So let's just take a look at Refined now, and we can reload that page. And you can see our previous page was called Daily Opening Checklist. So if we go on to Refined now, click on Operations, you can see now that that page has now been published to our intranet or our public website. And it's got all those nice information here, as you can see, including things like tables, images, etc. So you can see how simply our staff didn't need to know who to ask for approval, and everything was really seamless and intuitive for them. So next I'm going to show you how to actually set this up and how to use Capable to set up this approval process and the different options you have available to you. So going back to this slide, as you can see, we have our draft content here. We go for an approval, and then it becomes reviewed content. So how do we actually set up these teams, and how do we make this a bit more extensible for your team? So what you want to do is on your internal space, you can click here on the new Atlassian navigation, whether you like it or not. And you can click on integrations and go to Capable here. And if we go to the approval section, you can see now we have automated approvals assigned, which means by default, we're going to assign these pages to the editorial team here. But that's not the only way you can set this up. You can also set this up so people can choose between the teams that they ask for approval. So this might be useful if you need to route these approvals to different people based on, say, the content of the page. So let's get started and show you how to actually set up a team here. So I want to set up a team. We're going to click Create Team. I'm going to call this the Management Team. And we can give it a nice icon, and we can change the color here. And then we can add members to this team. So click Create. And as you can see, we now have our management team here at the bottom. So once we've created our team here, what we can do is open up the settings here and enable it within this space. And then we can choose how many approvers we need. So in this case, we're asking 3 people, but we might only need 1 of them to actually approve here. We can also set up things like expiration. So we could say this page needs to be re-reviewed, say after a month, 2 months, etc., or on an exact date. And finally, this one's important, the auto-publishing here. So that's what actually does that publishing to Refined. So if we save those changes, what we can do here is pick between either automatically assigning these approval teams to a page the moment it's created, or we can allow users to select from that list here. So in this case, let's go ahead and let's change it to the management team and click Save. And now the next step is, now that we've set up our approval teams and our automated approval here, is to set up the publishing. So if you look behind the scenes of Capable and Refined, there's 2 spaces that we're using here. One is an internal space. So in this case, we have VitaFleet internal. And we have a target space, which is the one where the reviewed content goes. So we've called that VitaFleet public in this case. So all you need to do is enable publishing here, select what space you'd like it to go into, and then you can choose whether you'd like to publish every page just on a flat hierarchy, or whether you'd like to actually keep the structure that you have already. So this could be things like the new folder functionality in Confluence. And you can also enable manual publishing, which if you're going to have a rigid approval process, you probably want to disable. And what this is going to do is exactly what we showed on the slides here, is going to manage all of this for us. And our users do not need to know anything about how this works. As a space admin, we can set this all up for us. So I'm going to show you on another draft page I have just what this looks like. So if we wanted to manually assign the teams, what you're going to find is if you click Capable and go down to Approval, is that you're going to have a list of these teams. And as you can see there, there's our new management team that we set up. And if you click on these, you'll see all the team members that are assigned. But because we set this up with automated approval so that our staff don't need to remember everything, you'll see here that actually this approval has been assigned automatically. And following the exact same steps as before, we can go through here, we can click approve or reject. And based on this, those pages will then be published to refined. So if we do the same thing here, click refresh, you can see now we've got our new page there. The end of day wrap-up page is all there completely. So it really is that simple to set up Capable and integrate it with Refined. And some other kind of really cool features I'd say that I would highlight would be this ability to show this kind of dashboard view where you can see each of your pages, you can see their approval status, who approved them. And that makes it really easy to find pages that are outdated here. So really easy, really straightforward to set this all up. And once it's set up, it's really pretty easy for your staff to get going. So now over to Raj to show you the other end of this and show you how Refined can get you these beautiful websites for your staff or for your customers.
All right, so now we've set up our publishing and approval workflows with Capable. We're ready to show this content to the audience that needs to access it. Like Jack said, we want to do this in a branded format that reflects our organization's visual identity. Here's where Refined Sites for Confluence comes in. So Refined Sites allows you to take this great content that you're publishing in Confluence and easily push it out as an intuitive, visually appealing, branded site. No coding skills required. You can also incorporate content from Jira Service Management if you use Refined Sites for JSM as well. By doing this, you're able to clear through the clutter for your end users, ensuring that they have access to engaging, well-structured websites, which can be tailored for internal users or external end users. You can choose what spaces you want to include on each of your sites, and you can create as many sites as you need. Each of these then has targeted content for the audience of that site. So let's take a look at how this is set up and how we use the publish space that Capable is creating and push this out onto the Refined site. So we're in Confluence now, and we access Refined from the Refined Sites option under the apps. And then here, as a product admin, you're able to go to Refined administration rather. Once you're here, it's as simple as clicking to create a site, giving it a name. So I'm going to call this VitaFleet KB. Pick what kind of site this is, if it's an external site or internal site. And what this will do is it will pre-fill some menu items for you. You can also choose to start from scratch. For this example, I'm just going to pick intranet. I'm going to pick one of the pre-selected styles here, and then I can customize this further. And I can choose to take the suggested content and structure, as I mentioned before, or choose to do it from scratch. I'll do it from scratch to show you how this works. I hit create site, and my site is now being set up. So while the site domain is being set up, I can go ahead and already add content to it. So I click on add space, and here I'll search for the public space where the content is being published to. And I can select whether I want to show it in the navigation menu and create a custom landing page for this. I'm going to switch off the custom landing page, but add it in so it's shown in the navigation menu. All right, my site is now set up. So if I go out to this, I haven't made any changes just yet, but essentially I have a blank site that I'm able to edit and customize exactly as I see fit. And I'm also able to show the content from this VitaFleet public space on this site. You're able to create quite complex navigation structures if you wish to do so. You can either add more spaces or more projects, or you can add some items in here like menu folders, which you can use to group content together. So if I call this just KB to start with, then I can nest spaces under this. So it's a great solution if you have multiple spaces, if you have a lot of content and you want to create a tailored navigation for your end users. For the sake of this demo, I went ahead and set up a whole site already. So here's what it could look like. Branded with VitaFleet's colors. navigation items right on the landing page, pathways to support and submitting ideas, and a fully built out navigation with the content that the users of this site need to access. I'm going to show you some of the additional features also that refined sites bring to the table to help the end users of this site access content even quicker and even easier. One of these is our AI-powered search. The way that this works is it searches the content that's on this site, and then based on the keywords that the user enters in, help perhaps, it will suggest some questions and some answers as well, and then give you the sources of these. So it means that the user has an easier access to the information that they need, and they're also able then to read through the source if they need more information on that particular topic. On the administration side of things, we want admins to know how their content is being used and how the content works for the end users. For this, we have an analytics feature built into the site itself. So as a refined administrator or an Atlassian administrator, you're able to access an analytics tab. And here you get an overview of how the site is being used, what pages are being most viewed, the trends in page views, and what users are searching for. Obviously, Jack and I have not done a lot of searches here, so this is not very well populated, but you get the idea. A couple of other cool things that you can add onto the site are custom domains, for example. So let's say Vitafleet in this case doesn't want to use the default .refine.site domain, but instead want to have this site as, for example, documentation.vitafleet.com. Then they can easily go in and add that custom domain here. One of the key reasons for using a custom domain is alignment with your brand, with your other assets online, but also for easy remembrance for your end users. It's so much easier to remember a custom domain than it is a longer Atlassian URL.
Thanks, Raj. I particularly liked the AI feature. I haven't seen that before. The search, I can see that being really useful for people trying to find answers with natural language instead of trying to find that exact page they're looking for. So today you've seen how to create a beautiful site with Refined, thanks to Raj, and how you can use Capable to implement an approval and review process to get those pages into there with the reliability and the accountability for people. So you've seen the integration between Refined and Capable and how we work together to give you a really seamless solution for getting this content to your customers or your staff.
If you want to take a closer look at both Capable and Refined sites, please go ahead and scan the QR codes. These will take you to the Atlassian Marketplace listings for each of our apps. We're also going to put some links in the description on more detailed setup in documentation form on how this is set up and how you can apply it to your workflows and your content in Confluence.
Thanks everyone for coming, and I hope you have a great day. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either of us.
Thanks a lot, everyone, and thank you, Jack.
Thanks, Raj. Bye.
Bye.